Hi, everybody. My name's Elaine Kelly, for those who don't know me. I lead a team of paranormal investigators in the Northeast called Spectre Detectors, and this is my first broadcast on HAPRC. I'm joined by a very, very special guest and a good friend of the team, Mr. Russell Edwards, who is a Ripper expert and who has joined us on an investigation when we went to Whitechapel. So welcome, Russell.
Hi Elaine, nice to be here.
Yeah, you're right. Right, so where do we start? Shall we start by saying how your Ripper, your Ripper interest and everything got going? I know that you purchased a shawl, but I'll let you tell the tale. And if we start with that, and then we can move on to the rest of the story of when we visited you in Whitechapel, if that's all right with you.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. So I came down to London in the late 80s. Mates of mine from Bethnal Green took me to the bagel shop in Brick Lane, which is the back end of Spitalfields, Whitechapel. And I fell in love with the place because I'm from Merseyside. It's like home down there for me. Love the area. I didn't really have any interest in Jack the Ripper at all for most of my life till I saw the film From Hell in 2001, I think. And then realised that I wondered where Jack the Ripper's story was in relation to where I'd been for 11 years in the East End. And lo and behold, the whole story is literally around the streets where I've been walking for all that time, So I investigated this story through the archive in Kew. I wanted to see the real evidence, the real case files that did call Scotland Yard at the time to see if they made a point of being in the direction of Kew. And then really just realised that this is a mystery. It will always be a mystery, or at the time it would always be a mystery, because there's no real evidence. And with that, I sort of put it to one side. And then in 2007, it was my mum called me and said, there's a shawl. In fact, it just happens to be just at the anniversary of the day I bought the shawl back in 2007, which is like 14 years ago now. And I didn't know, I didn't know the adventure this would take me on. As I met you and Hannah, and I was told that maybe my journey, this was my destiny type of thing, the type of person I am, just the way I think, I don't like to be defeated or anything, I love challenges. And that shawl was really meant to be taken from the murder scene of the fourth Ripper murder, that of Catherine Eddowes. And I bought it from the descendants, or one of the descendants of an acting sergeant that was on secret duties on that night it's in Manchester Street, but Manchester Square. And he came across the bastard in passing. It's interesting that I get asked a few times, and lots of people say, it wasn't there to prove it. But there's 13 newspaper reports saying it was there. So the police hit the scene quite quickly. Anyway, I got a letter of provenance, bought the shawl. But the reason why I bought the shawl was really significant because the pattern on the shawl says Michaelmas Davies, and it was the pattern on that really, that brought me into the story. And that was because there are three of the murders, the three of the five murders happened on the date that Michaelmas is celebrated, and that's the Michaelmas pattern on the shawl. And that's really where it really, really did start. Let me just say at this point, I did show the shawl quite recently online, and there's blood, there's human bodily fluids on there as well, and they're very, very visible. You can see them, it's not a case of they're made up, and they're very real, and the shawl's very old as well. So with that all said, when I bought the shawl, getting the provenance, I knew it was in Scotland Yard all through the 90s. And I got a bit of a rapport going with the guy that run the Black Museum there. And when I told him the link of the Michaelmas Davies and the Michaelmas connection to the date of the murder, and his actual words were, which I love saying, is I don't know why they do these tours, write these books, make these films. You know, we've always known, and we've always known who Jack the Ripper was, and he just told me the name, and he said he'd help me, and you know, through the years he has helped me. And it was a case of I didn't go to him and ask. I had to sort of go to him with research that I've done, and not just pick his brains. And yeah, he told me the full story in the end, and that's how I got. Really, the story didn't pick until I met Dr. Yori Lokalani. And Yori and I, even about an hour ago, we've been in touch nearly every single day since the day we met. It was science, that, you know, I would say groundbreaking science, because he invented a technique never used before to get uncontaminated DNA, because that was the problem with the shore. And so many people have touched it. We needed uncontaminated samples. And Yori, you know, read his paper. Or read the book. It's certainly in there how he did that. And we actually, it was 2014 in February when Yori we did all the work. We've traced the blood to a direct female descendant, so we know for sure, you know, the blood on there, Katrina Doe's blood. So that was a massive revelation, and again, that's been poo-pooed. But with most things, the press and people, they take you away from the truth, and what they call the obfuscate the truth. But yeah, it was Katrina Doe's blood, and then there was this body was through to, so to say, semen on the shore, and through a very long, hard, arduous process, the semen on the shore with Anne that Scotland Yard told me was Jack the Ripper. So then that brings me to when I met you. So I've done a paranormal investigation the way that they did, you know. But I'll let you take over from here. But that's really how I thought the show got involved in the case, Jack the Ripper.
So how we met is, I always take, this is going to sound really bizarre, but I always take my messages from spirit. So if I see something constantly that I haven't looked at, and I know you can look things on Facebook and it keeps bringing them back on, but I never looked at Jack the Ripper, ever. And it kept coming up all the time on my Facebook page, various things. It was a Jack the Ripper museum. It was, you know, all of these things. And I was thinking there's something in this. So that's when I contacted you, not thinking for a minute that you would answer me, and not for a minute thinking that you would let 10 wacky people come down to Whitechapel and you would show them around in the middle of the night, to be fair. So I messaged you and said, you know, would you be interested in just a sole tour? I mean, we didn't want anything from you. We just want, I mean, we're from County Durham. I've only been to London once in my life and I was about 6. So I didn't fancy trying to walk around London on my own to try and find, you know, so that's how I contacted you and asked you if you would let us come down. So you agreed, and which was lovely. And then we hired an apartment in Brick Lane. And to be fair, when I booked it, I didn't even know where Brick Lane was. And I didn't know that it was going to be right in the heart of the tour. So when we came down and met you and you took us around all of these weird, I mean, it's pretty much exactly the same as it was back then. It's still, I won't say seedy, but it's, you know, it's all alleys, isn't it? And it's all, you can see how it was quite easy for him to hide out and to, you know, to do these horrible things to these ladies. But when we came down there, we didn't actually want to talk to Jack the Ripper. That's not what we wanted to do. We wanted to talk to the ladies. We wanted, because as you know, we use various equipment to talk to the paranormal, including our spirit box and portal, which I've got samples of if it plays all right on here. And I just wanted you to take us to the places, but not give us any information until the mediums had seen what they could get. And it turned out to be a phenomenal night. It was an amazing night. I mean, everybody worked really hard. We put you through your paces. You weren't supposed to be with us very long, and we were there for hours, weren't we? We walked a long, long way. But I strongly recommend anybody that's at London to do the tour. It's an amazing tour. Even if it's not the paranormal twist, if you just do it, you've just got to go and see. No, not in a morbid sense. It does sound very morbid, but it just, to be in the middle of it is fascinating. to be honest. It really is. And to see the doss houses, I mean, I know people live in them now in the swanky apartments and they cost millions, but you can still see what it would have been like in the 1800s and how hard it was. So, I mean, it was a really, really interesting night. We picked up on all sorts. And as you know, that you've named the Ripper, you named him as Aaron Kosminski. And I knew that because I'd read your book, but he actually said, and the lady said his name through our equipment. I mean, it's pretty mind blowing, to be honest, the whole thing. Yeah. But I mean, you tell the story as well. Great. I mean, you can tell the affection that you have for the ladies, and you know, you're telling their story just as much as we wanted to find out the truth. So yeah, that's really nice. I mean, I can share some of the footage from that night if you want me to share some of it now, and we can talk about it later. Should I go for that?
You can do. I just wanted to add. What I wanted to add was, yeah, definitely. I was very surprised at your night, because I've done so many tour people from all walks of life, but it was the night has in all these years has stuck with me because of what you found and things that obviously Hannah and another lady and your guy. There was three of your team that really told me stuff that only I know, that I don't share. But the most profound thing was what you were just about to share.
Well, the thing is, though, you can talk about. I mean, you lived him.
So if
you've lived him for long enough. But it's when you actually hear his voice, it's a bit. It still gives me a little bit of bit of the shivers. To be fair, the ladies are lovely. They talk. But when he does, and do you know something, Russell? Even to this day now, and Hannah and them will back me up, when we're on investigations, he still pops up. He still comes through the portal and he says, "I'm Jack." And you think, oh, he's just there, kind of still lurking in the shadows, a bit like he did back then. And do you know something that is also lovely? Whenever we go to investigate anywhere and there are ladies that have to sell their bodies, you know, because it was not all walks of life, it was all over. They still come through to help the ladies that we're communicating with in the building. So we still get Catherine, and we still get Elizabeth, you know, and we still get Mary Kelly. And so when we see them, or the mediums see them in their mind's eye, we know then that they've either been working girls or they've been murdered in the same kind of horrible, brutal way. Not quite as brutal as Jack the Ripper, because it was a one-off. But if they've had the throat slit or anything like that, they kind of use our experiences from Whitechapel to show us that what the ladies are trying to say. And it's still fascinating. And it's kind of like they help us along if we get a little bit lost off. So that's really lovely. But I'll share some of it is quite long-winded. I hope it won't be too blocky, because I can't help it when I share videos. For some reason it's blocky, but you get the gist of it. This is a portal session, and I've put subtitles on in case it is blocky. So we'll see where we go from here.
Sure. Are you Jack?
Said Aaron something there.
Should I take some photos, do you think?
Yeah.
Aaron, that said Aaron, I think. That was a woman saying that.
I would assume so, but it's never been. I'll tell you something more.
Annie, are you here? Hello. Can you ask?
Hi. You kidding me?
Come on then. Are you here with us? Help.
Keep going.
Come on then. Come and talk to us.
That's obviously problem.
Mental health. It's just said mental health. It's just said mental health. Is Martha here? Run. Run. Martha, do I look like you?
That was nice.
Come and tell me your name in full. I didn't make out the rest.
Reenacting. Reenacting.
Keep saying Bob. Who's Bob?
What was this victim called?
Elizabeth. Long Liz.
Liz. Elizabeth. Liz.
So he could have raped. She could have brought. You a spy. So basically, this is all come.
Did you used to say you were Peter?
I did it.
I did it. Did you murder them? Come on, name all of your victims.
Why did you do it?
Because I wanted something.
Yeah, because I wanted something.
Hold on. Are you happy that Russell's telling your story of the truth?
Yeah.
Where did it happen? London. I know we're in London. So that's part of it. There's an awful lot of footage because we recorded the whole night, and there is some more.
Wow.
But that's that's part of it. I mean, it's self-explanatory, really. But it is lovely that they've come through to talk. The ladies did seem quite keen to talk to us. So there you go. So maybe one day we'll get to come down and finish the story off and see if they've got anything else to say.
Found experience listening to that because I know it was glitchy, but my recollection of that night was when you see pictures of the victims and then put you up, that was very, very profound for me to do that. Another thing which was really on the story, the fact to the point where they get attacked, and the fact that when they get this, what this did for me was filling that gap with them as it was happening to them, which has never been relayed in a way, especially considering we were standing at the murdings of things. It was very tense, to be honest. There's the most thing which I put on my Instagram page when we did it was hearing Elizabeth Strider, a Swedish driver, the third Ripper victim, was from Sweden, when she says, "I'm Swedish," and
she did say, and I didn't know that. I didn't know that when she said it, but it's
really, in a way, I don't. Yeah, no, I don't know the paranormal world, and I'm not part of it, as you know. I'm happy to help, but they're brought back to life. It feels for me like they're trapped. They're trapped in this story.
Oh,
You
have
know,
we
I
lost you?
just heard "I'm Swedish" on when standing right next to you. That had a profound impact on me. Thinking, "Christ, these instead of over 100 odd years ago, here's this whoever it is. Obviously, it sounded like a Swedish woman, but she's there.
Yeah.
You know, there she is 130 years after, and
Yeah, it is. It is amazing. I mean, I'll play you another one. This one is, I thought it was Catherine Eddowes, but it wasn't. You put me right. It was Elizabeth Stride again, because we got lost off. There's so many sites, and this, you showed us where Aaron lived, and you showed us where Martha Tabram came to her awful sticky end. Me and poor Martha became friends by the end of the night. So I'll play this one. This one is Elizabeth saying where he came from. Hannah was linking with him, and she was telling us that he was hiding around the corner, and this is what she had to say.
Yeah.
When we were stood, and you got your picture. Round the corner.
Round the corner.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I mean, you can't get any clearer than that, really. We asked where he was, and that's where she said, around the corner. So there you go.
Yeah.
Are you still with us, Russell?
Yeah.
You've gone all blocky. Have we lost you?
I can't hear you.
Oh, right. Well, you just blocked for a minute. You just went all frozen. Can you hear me now? Oh no, have we lost Russell?
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? No? Oh no, have we lost him? Okay. Are you back? Can you hear me?
To all those listeners, I can't hear a thing.
Can you hear me now?
I can't hear you at all, Elaine.
Oh no.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah. Shane, shout. I don't shout. Can you hear me now? Tell you what I'll do. I'll play some more footage, I think. Or I'll put some photographs on until Russell gets himself sorted out. Let's have a look. Right, these are photos from the night. Can you hear me now, Russell? Now, this one is interesting. Beverly took this photo. It was outside the 10 Bells pub, and the gentleman there, as you can see, he's got a tash and dark hair. Bev took two photographs exactly the same time, but one after the other, and this man wasn't there in the second one. And when Russell went to ask the bouncers, there was no person behind that post, and the bouncers were watching, so we couldn't explain that photograph. But he looks quite handsomely dishy, to be fair, on there. Let's see what else there is. This one is at the murder scene of Elizabeth Stride, and this is exactly how her body was at Dutfield's yard. I think it's Dutfield's yard. It looks like Russell's gone. Is he trying to get back? Is he back? Are you back? No. Anyway, so this was taken through an infrared camera, and it's one of the most. It's how she was found. Her head was near the grate at the top there. So, oh, is he back? Are you back? And the other photographs, I think, that are coming up are just spirit lights. They were unexplained lights, but if you look, you can see a face in them, but you can't say whether that's him or not.
Hi, Elaine.
Are you back?
I can't hear you, I'm afraid.
Oh, no. Never mind. Have you definitely gone? Yeah, I think we've lost Russell, haven't we?
I can't hear you.
No, we can hear. I can hear you.
I'll come out and try again.
All right. Okay. Right. Let's see what other. This one is Mary Kelly. Mary Kelly was the last victim that was murdered in the house, in the flat, and he had a good time with her, to be fair. He was there for a while and he worked on her and he dangled all of her internals all over the flat. But there was talk that Mary Kelly was pregnant, and that's what we picked up while we were there. So this, I asked if she was, and this is what we got. So let's have a look.
Do we want to know if Mary Kelly was pregnant?
Yeah.
Was Mary Kelly pregnant? Something you might have been onto? That's still going. Can you hear me now? No, I think I've still lost him, haven't I? So that was the portal session that we had with Mary Kelly. Are you there, Russell? You hear me? No, he can't. He's gone. So yeah, we were talking to Mary Kelly, and there was talk that she was pregnant. So we asked, and on that portal session, it says cut across my stomach and it got took. So we'll never ever know for certain, but we do wonder if you know, he took that little souvenir with him, which is pretty gruesome, to be fair. But getting back to the story with Russell, he was talking about the shawl. He bought a shawl. He spent an awful lot of money on this shawl, and they weren't even sure if it was linked to the Ripper. It was supposed to be Catherine Eddowes' shawl, but when he bought it from an auction, from the police archives. Oh, is he back? Is he back?
Hey.
Are you back?
But you're back.
Can you hear me now?
I couldn't hear a thing.
Did you pay your bill?
Yeah. I also paid the bill. Oh, that's the thing. They take all the money. Yeah.
I was just sharing.
I don't know what you're saying. Yeah.
I was just going. I shared the Mary Kelly one where we were talking about maybe that she was expecting, and we weren't sure if she was pregnant. Do you want me to share that again? It was just when we asked her, and she was talking about it being cut across. So I'll play it now. See if it plays all right.
Okay.
Alan. Do we want to know if Mary Kelly was pregnant?
Yeah.
Was Mary Kelly pregnant? Something you might have been onto? That's still going. I mean, I know it's quite blocky there because obviously it's just this internet's rubbish. But yeah, it's she said cut across my stomach and it got took. So I don't know,
Yeah.
because obviously he had a lot of time with Mary Kelly, didn't he? He didn't exactly rush himself in that, you know, he was indoors. It was a bit of a messy job.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether that she was pregnant and that he took it, but she did say, cut me across my stomach and it got took. Do you think maybe that she was pregnant?
Well, the thing is, as you well know, all my stories based on historic fact and science, and we do know that it wasn't just a messy; it was absolute, complete butchery of a human being what he did to Mary Kelly, and we know for a fact that this is how bad it was. When he scooped all the body parts back together, a heart was missing. So when he cut across my stomach and it got took, all I know is that it was a heart. He couldn't find a heart at the scene, so it could be a heart, or it could be something else. But he definitely took a heart. Now it's interesting you bring up the subject of Mary Kelly being pregnant, because that's been a story about ripperologists for a very, very long time. You know, was she pregnant? You know, and if so, you know, it's quite strange that when she was with her partner, left her in the August, or the July or August 1888, because he lost his job and he couldn't afford to keep her. So she started walking the streets and ended up becoming a victim. But it's interesting that if she would have been pregnant, there was a bit of. I know he kept in touch, but whether she was or she wasn't pregnant was never ever documented. So if that's what's come across there, you could interpret it that way, or you could interpret it got took means that he took a heart.
He definitely took something, didn't he? But awful.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
poor women.
You know, he took body parts of most victims. Yeah.
But I mean, there's so many.
Interestingly enough, the one that I've always a lot of.
I still there.
What were you going to say, Elaine?
Oh yeah. I was going to say there's so many similarities, as you know. When we came down, it was the 8th of September. I know that date was significant. Was it a murder victim's date? Was the 8th of September? I'm sure it was. Yeah. You signed my book. It's here. Yeah, 8th of September 2018.
Andy Chapman, yeah, second victim.
So there was that. There was obviously, I was meant to look like Martha. I don't know if I've got a photo of that. I have got it somewhere, but you said I look like Martha. My son's birthday was the 16th of October.
Yeah.
I think that date was relevant. My mother-in-law's name was Mary Kelly. Yeah. And my brother-in-law is called Wilf.
Wow.
So that was all of the similarities, all of those things. Wilf, because obviously Aaron Kosminski's brother is called, well, I think it was pronounced Wilf, isn't it? But it was spelt Wolf, Woolf. And I know that because Leslie, because the story went on, when we came to do the investigation and we communicated with all these people and they'd all came through. I mean, I've still got more portal sessions I can share where he says that the DNA is all over the shawl. I'll share that next. But it carried on. So when we went back to our apartment in Brick Lane, Leslie went to bed and in her, this sounds really weird, she had a scratch in her leg. And when I took a photograph of it, it's spelt Wolf, Woolf, in bright red. So it was just the most bizarre night. Yeah. It really was a bizarre night. God knows what you must have thought of us when we came down and got all of this equipment out and suddenly he's talking to you.
I was overwhelmed. Because, I've never come across that experience in Whitechapel or on any experience I've ever had while I've been there all the time. It was round about, it's back in the late 80s. I walked through Whitechapel not knowing what the significance of it back then. and I felt something. I actually put it in my book. I actually felt something. It was really weird. And back then I was switched off to everything, so it's quite weird that I should fit. So when I came to that my experience with you guys, what Hannah, you, and a few of your colleagues actually said to me was extreme. Well, to most people, it might be disturbing, but I'm used to it because I've been in the world of serial killers for decades. But it was quite, I'd say, scary. The thing is that man following me. There's a ghost of a man following me around. You know, he likes to hear his story. You know, and then he draw in the picture of the person that's following me. The fact of what he did with the body parts, what he did with the skin. You know, and again, he drew the picture of that for me. Those things, you know. Now, it's interesting you should say wolf, because where we were on Elizabeth Stride's murder, there was the eyewitness actually brought the identity of Jack the Ripper was a guy called Israel Schwartz, because he saw Aaron Kosminski attacking Elizabeth Stride before she was murdered. Now, the historic fact is there was standing at the doorway of a pub on the corner, like a few yards away, smoking a pipe. And when Kosminski turned around and pointed to Israel Schwartz and shouted the word Lipsky, that man approached Israel Schwartz and Israel Schwartz ran. Now, that man could have been a lookout. Who knows? You know, again, back to scientific fact, we know there's a man with a pipe there watching. So I always thought, you know, that if you, there's a lot more research I've done in lockdown that brings wolf more into play in this, quite scarily so. Because I'm not saying wolf was a lookout at all, and I'm not saying that he was there at the scene at all. What I'm saying is that the only person that would have looked after Aaron Kosminski's fact was his brother Wolf, and I've come across a lot of documents in lockdown to show, you know, especially when you go to Leavesden Asylum, his brother Wolf was the guy that came and looked after all, you know, when he died, looked after the burial, took the body, all of this. It was all Wolf. And again, when he went into the asylum, he was in another asylum which I've discovered, and again it was Wolf, and it adds into the care of his brother. So there's a lot of connection with Wolf to Kosminski more than any other of his.
Wow. I mean, we are carrying on the tale. We are due to go, as you know, we are supposed to go back down to the asylum. It was supposed to be last year before COVID hit, and we were supposed to carry on the story. Because the first story was about the ladies, and it should rightly be about the ladies, of course. But there's a part of me just wants to. He's clearly got something to say, unless he's just a strong presence that decides to pop up on nearly every investigation that I go on. He's either got something to say, or he's just trying to scare us a little bit, and I'm a little bit curious. And I think that's what he was doing with you. I mean, we did pick up that he follows you a lot. I mean, to be honest with you, you're telling the tale. You're naming the guy. You know, nobody's ever named him properly like you have. You've got his DNA. You know, you can't get any better than that. You have semen on the shawl, and you have done DNA testing, and it's 100%. It's 100% match, and nobody's ever done that before. So if anybody's, I strongly recommend that you read Russell's book. I've got it here, actually. There it is. There. Name and Jack the Ripper. You can't have mine, though, because it's signed. You'll have to buy your own. But, yeah. Mine's worth a fortune. You can't have mine.
That's true. It's interesting, Elaine, because we're just coming up to. Oh yeah. One day, when I pass away, these signed copies of the books, every single one I've ever signed, I've dated. You know. Yeah, you have. You dated mine. Worth a couple of quid. When you're coming, if you pass before me, because nothing's guaranteed in this world, you can come through and tell me your story through the portal. No, I'm planning to be around for a very long time. Me too. Very lovely news recently, so yeah, I'm going to be around for a while.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but one thing I want to say, we're at the 24th of and coming up to the first Whitechapel murder, which is on the 3rd of April. And that was, now, again, Smith, there's 11 Whitechapel victims and 5 were attributed to Jack the man, the world-known Jack the Ripper. But the 2 before is Emma Smith, literally in, 10 days' time? And she was attacked by 3 youths. Now,
yeah, Hannah picked up on her, didn't she? Hannah, you took us to the site, and Hannah picked up on that lady.
Yeah. So what it is which is very interesting. I've recently watched the Yorkshire Ripper documentaries because of what's happened to him. But you expect a beast, you expect a monster, the devil himself. And most of the time, the reason why these guys get away with it, or they did for so long, is they do not fit your expectations of who they are. Because he would have been, he wasn't a big guy, at all, stocky, but only like 5 foot 2. He was a short little Jewish guy, that really did just fit in with the crowd or blend in with the crowd. Now it could be very well. There's lots of debate over whether he was one of the 3, the 3rd of April 1888, and got a taste for murder from that. But we know, and we all believe that the looked like Martha Tabram was his very first. He didn't take any body parts from Martha, but he did when he stabbed her. And was 39 times.
I know. I know when we, like I say, I've touched on that. You said I look like Martha, but Martha did come through quite a bit that night, and I think she quite liked me because she was gobby. I think I reminded her a little bit of herself, because I can be gobby, and I think that she was a little bit gobby as well. But I know in that portal session, it says 6 of us. So would Martha be included in the 6, or is Martha included in the 5?
Yeah. Historically, she wasn't, because no body parts were taken, and it wasn't the exact MO of the other 5. But with serial killers, they start and the violence sort of increases.
Yeah, it does.
So
It's
his first murder, considering it's around the corner from Emma Smith, considering it.
Yeah. I mean, I've got that photo. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, because I wrote a book about our investigation. I'm not here to plug my own book, to be fair, because it's not as good as yours. But the photos in here somewhere. I mean, I
you should.
all of it.
It took years. Here we go.
Mine didn't. Mine didn't take very long. It's not very big. Look at it. It's tiny. There. I don't know whether you can see it. Can you see it? No, not very well. But I do have the look of Martha. It is quite scary. Yeah. It's not a very flattering photo, is it? Because bless her, she's in the mortuary, and I'm trying to pull a face like she's got. Yeah. But we do have very similar. She's a bit chubby faced, and we have the same hairline and everything. It's quite weird. I'll play this one. This one is where he says his DNA is on the shore. I might as well. I've played the rest of them. And it's 8:45, so we haven't got that long left. But
is it your DNA on that shore? All over it, was that?
I mean, it's bizarre. I mean, I know people are skeptical about spirit boxes and portals, and they say that it is a radio that tunes itself in constantly, and spirit manipulate it and create words from it, and you know, and people say, oh yeah, but it's just the radio. How can it be the radio? He said Kosminski, Elizabeth Stride around the corner. I mean, how could it? Just can't. You know, for all the skeptics, and I know you get skeptics, and I know they've always got a reason behind it and say, yeah, but it can be this, it can be that, that's a load of this. To me, every single thing that we did that night fit. It was when she said she was Swedish, and she was Swedish. I mean, how?
Yeah.
It was just a fascinating night. I mean, it's. I don't need any more evidence to think that we're talking to the ladies, to be fair. But yeah, I asked a question about is it your DNA on the shawl, and he's put Jack, and then and they said something else in the middle, and I can't quite make out what it is, and then it says all over it. I mean, it is. I mean, it's not all over it, but it's demons on the DNA, and it is how you named him.
Well, there's blood all over the shawl.
Yeah, the blood was Catherine's, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Catherine Eddowes. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that. Yeah, the shawl.
So
it's Catherine Eddowes' blood. And then there's quite a lot, a significant amount of ejaculate. But obviously, you can imagine, I mean, where his head would have been, you know, again, you know, whatever in there, it's quite a lot, but not more than one. Quite difficult to say that on a radio show, but yes, there's ejaculate on there if you just stay with that. But yeah, you know, going back to 1888, there was no idea. Like now, ask us where we are in 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
The significant advances in science would have brought us to name who Jack the Ripper was. You know.
Yeah. I can't work out. I mean,
the work that I did, and more so Yari, Dr. Yari Lyman, yeah.
I mean, it's such a massive thing. You've named him. I mean, the biggest massive mystery in the world. Everybody is fascinated with Jack the Ripper, as gruesome and horrible as it is. They are, and macabre. And you've named him, but it's like it should be all over the news. Like it should be. It's a massive thing. I mean, I know you have been interviewed on the telly, and I know you've been in the papers and all this. But it should be massive.
It was. And we're holding out. It is. We've come a long way, Yari and I, since we named, and again, that's all confidential. You know, the realms of what we've got next. You know, we'll see. We'll wait for our time now. You know, we're in the middle of I would say in our lifetime, one of the worst historic moments.
Yeah.
Of a you know, not just one generation, but all our generations.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not time to glorify anything right now. I think really just let's get better first. Okay?
Yeah, we just want the world to be normal, don't we?
And then wait and see what we've got to say. You know.
Well, I can't wait. So is there a new book coming out? Is there a book 2? And when do you think it'll be?
Well, I've written, it's what's happened after the story that we announced to date. Well, I say not pre-lockdown because what, like most of us, is just sort of use this time as productively as we can, and what has added so much more to this stuff, and Yari has as well, and so we've been beavering away, you know. But yeah, the second book has been written, and again, there's, you know, I won't have to be justifying my existence anymore with this story. I won't have to justify the fact that I've named him or solve the case. That's the work that we've done in the last few years.
Are you still there? Have we lost you?
Yeah, still here.
Oh, yeah. We'll blame Jack. We'll say it's the Gremlins. It's Jack the Ripper. He doesn't want us to talk. So I'm super excited to hear what you've been.
Can you go back? Can you go? Did you hear that? Can you go back to the picture of Elizabeth Stride at the moment?
I can, yeah. Hang on a minute. Photos. So this is the guy that was following you in the shadows. He's quite hard to see on there. That's the guy from the 10 Bells. There you go.
Yeah.
So I'm right in thinking that's how she was found, isn't it?
That picture there. Yeah. So I've obviously been there a lot since then. That's still there where she lay, exactly like that.
It's bizarre, isn't it? I mean, you can see the feet, you can see the knees, you can see the way that the head is, and it is you know, it's a great photo. I don't know what else, and the other ones were just really spirit lights. They were just weird lights, but if you have a look, there are faces in there. They're just bizarre lights. But this is all around where Elizabeth was. It's all about that, around that area. So he was definitely lurking in the shadows. But I don't know whether, I mean, we're nearly out of time, I think, 10 to 9. I mean, I don't know if you want to hear the portal session again, or if there's anything else that you want to cover before we finish.
Yeah.
Do you want me to put the portal session on?
Yeah, because it went glitchy on me and I couldn't hear. Yeah. Yeah, on.
I'll put it on. It's this blooming internet, I think. Let's have a look.
Are you dead?
Said Aaron something there.
Shall I take some photos, do you think?
Yeah.
Aaron, not said Aaron, I think. It was a woman saying that.
I would assume so, but it's never been. In fact, I'll tell you something more.
Annie, are you here? Hello. Can you ask?
You kidding me?
Come on then. Are you here with us? Help.
Keep going.
Come on then. Come and talk to us.
Over them. That's obviously problem.
Mental health.
Is that
Just
what
said
you're
mental
getting?
health.
You're schizophrenic.
It's just said mental health. Is Martha here? Run. Martha, do I look like you? Come and tell me your name in full. I didn't make out the rest.
Reenacting. Keep saying Bob.
Who's Bob? What was this victim called?
Elizabeth. Long Liz.
Liz. Elizabeth. Liz.
So he could have raped. She could have brought.
You spy.
So basically, this is all come.
Did you used to say you were Peter? I did it. Did you murder them? Come on, name all of your victims.
Why did you do it?
Because I wanted something.
Yeah, because I wanted something.
Hold on. Are you happy that Russell's telling your story of the truth?
Yeah.
Where did it happen? I know we're in London.
Does it still give you chills? It's very bizarre.
Yeah. Yeah. This building.
But
I'm the only person in the whole building now. Yeah.
ooh,
Yeah.
you'll have all the lights on. Hopefully you won't pay you a visit. Well, it's nearly time. It's nearly time for the end of the show. Well, thank you for giving up your very valuable time. I know that you're a very, very busy man. But it was really good to see you. It's been 3 years. And I'm hoping, I mean, I do get asked quite often, actually, if we'll do a public one. I think I've spoken to you about it before, but it was before the whole COVID thing hit. So if you'd ever be interested in doing kind of, giving the public a chance to come along, doing kind of what we did, but obviously with public, I don't know how you would feel about that. Obviously, given the way things are in the world, it'd be next year probably. If you fancy that, and we could do it live, because like we did do it live that night. I did go live.
Yeah.
So that would be really good. And I'll let you know when we are going to meet Martin at Levisham Asylum. If you wanted to join us then, you're more than welcome.
Yeah.
But I will let you go. So, like I say, thank you, Russell. And maybe we can catch up again. Like you say, I'll drop you a message, and maybe we can do another little chat at some point, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, that'd be lovely. It's been real.
Okay. Well, I'm pleased that you've joined us. Right. Okay. Well, we'll call that a night, and take care, and I hope to see you soon. Stay safe, and catch you later on.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Elaine.